require that all attendees have a chair. No standing in the aisles or sitting on the floor. Please do not use your chairs for your belongings if others are looking for a place to sit. If you are plugging devices into wall outlets, keep in mind that people may be moving around during the session. Your devices may be damaged if someone runs into the cords.
Not to mention the people. The people would be damaged.
Correct. Act 48 will still be available at P&C as we have offered in the past. However, no codes will be distributed this year. You will be able to submit your Act 48 credit online via the evaluation process. You can find the links in the Attendee Service Center on the P&C webpage. And now I present to you Karen and Missy.
Hello. Thank you. You too might get a chance to come up here and speak into the ball.
Yes.
Or we'll throw the ball at you.
Or we'll throw the ball at you. Alright? That's the whole point. Keep you awake. Alright, so welcome. This is Girls Gone Google, unofficially subtitled. We're going to show you our tips.
We're enunciating that. You show us yours.
We'll show ours. Yep.
And we'll give you some beads.
And we do. We have beads. Yep. And this is the point where we expect like half of you to get up and leave. No idea what you're getting into.
I apologize.
So welcome. I'm Karen Steigerwalt. I am a 7th grade language arts teacher, which means that joke I can't ever say in class. I just recently, got my level 2 certification. I was really glad to check that off because I made the slide first. Yep. And that is my Twitter handle, Karen Teach. That is really how my parents chose to spell my first name. My siblings are all totally normally spelled. Yep. But do follow me on Twitter. I hang out there a lot.
Just a little bit. Oh, I get one too. Thank you. And I'm Missy. I am a tech integration coach at the West York Area Middle School. I am also an adjunct for Wilson College, and I teach some EdgeSpire classes, so I might have interacted with some of you through EdgeSpire. And I have my trainer certificate. And in my prior lifetime, I was a 3rd, 5th, and 6th grade teacher at the elementary. They couldn't figure out what they wanted to do with me in my real life. So I grew up and I'm here for now. So that's me.
Yeah. And we became buddies. Yeah. By the way, we have to do this. Shout out to Shane, who invented the cue ball. I apparently am either really convincing or really annoying, but he gave us this to use and take home. So shout out to Shane. If you see him, his booth is right outside the ballroom. Thank him. Say you saw it so he knows you're actually using it. And then we did bring some of his brochures along in case you want, in case you want your own ball.
The kids love them.
I'm kind of enjoying it too. So we met because of an amazing program called KTI, the Keystone Technology Innovators. Anybody in here a principal? Yeah, you need to admit it.
Willing to admit that they're an administrator.
Anybody willing to admit they're a principal?
I saw one.
Are you a building principal? Have you nominated your KTI yet? See us at the end. You have not.
Give me that card.
Give me that card.
Give me that card.
Are you looking forward to KTI? Nominations close Friday. Get on it. All your principals can nominate somebody. If you want to know more, talk to us. It's amazing. It will change your life. It's an incredible program. So we were both KTI 15, and you only get to go once as a camper. And then we both applied to be lead learners. So you got to hang out in 2016 and 17 and 18 and God help them, 19. We're actually going to room together.
Oh, so Lord help us.
So exciting.
You know where the party will be.
We do. Not our room. We will be asleep. Do you want to go to the next slide and we'll talk about the ACT? Okay, so,
Oh, we have a problem, Houston.
We're fresh. And I'll talk about PAECT. So the other thing that we know each other through is PAECT. How many of you in here are PAECT members? Woot woot! How many of you are going to be PAECT members by the end of today? Everybody raises their hand. It's free. Yes. Everybody raises their hand. Yes, good.
You get a membership and
you get a membership and you get, yes. If you are not a member of PAECT, it is the way to keep the party of P&C going all year long. We offer professional development and all sorts of cool stuff and regional events And there is an upgraded membership where you get some of the stuff for less cost during the year, and you get a free thing for kite learning. Oh, I thought they were all taking my picture.
Kite learning
No.
is $79, so that's a huge discount.
It is a huge discount. So yes, you should totally sign up. It's right behind, like when you registered. If you turn around, don't take a picture now. If you turn around, that's where the PAUCT booth is. And you should totally go and sign up. You can buy raffle tickets if you want while you're there, but you should totally sign up because it is the way to stay connected and meet crazy people like us all year long. And it's free. Free. All right, so we are going to start this googly journey. The short link or the QR will take you. It's going to ask you to make a copy. Yes, you want to make a copy. Now you have our presentation.
And it's yours. You can use it and abuse it all you want.
Yeah, we didn't invent Google.
Just put your face on it, not
Take
Karen's
it.
and I.
We're happy to share anything we make.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so here you are. Ready?
Oh, so too soon? Sorry.
I was too slow. Sorry.
In this case, Google Girls,
Got it.
which amazingly was not yet taken. In Billings. We were shocked. I guess we could have gone show us your tips, but that's probably taken. It might take you somewhere else if you mistype it too. So.
Yeah, could be a whole lot of
Okay, so we have 3 rounds for you. Our first round, since we are Girls Gone Google, and none of us really are going to. Where do people go for spring break now?
Not anywhere that I don't know. Clearly, I have 4 kids.
I don't know.
Do spring break.
I have rabbits. I still don't do spring break, but Easter. Big holiday in our house. But if you were going on spring break with Google, these are the things you would definitely want to have in your suitcases. These are our top 5 googly things.
Must-haves.
No girl or guy should be without. I'm pink, right?
You're pink.
All right, paint roller.
You're pink on your shirt. I have blue on my shirt.
Oh, that's
so
right.
you
That's how I
color code.
remember.
Oh,
It's 2:30 for us too. All right. So how many of you have ever seen the paint roller thing in Docs and Slides and been like, I have no clue what that's for, right? Now, okay. So please be honest. Is there anybody in here who's like, I don't really know what that does? Yeah. Okay. Ready? So think about an actual paint roller. You dip it in the paint, and then you roll it on the wall, and the wall turns into the color that you just dipped it in, right? You know what I'm talking about? Okay, so if you highlight what you want the text to look like, oh, this is the part I want it all to match, and then you click the paint roller, dip, and then you highlight the part you want to change, roll, it will change. So if you've gone out to a whole bunch of different sites and pulled resources for your kids, but you want them all to be a consistent font, done. If you're building a slide deck and you're pulling things from different sources and you want them all to be the theme color or whatever, done. We love the paint roller. It is our first tool we are sharing with you.
And next, we'll talk about Google Translate.
Save
And
your
I
voice,
know,
kiddo.
is
You
there
can have
any ESL people in the room who are going to clobber me?
We're sorry, we know.
I apologize. It's not beautiful, but when I can't speak the language and my students can, it works in a pinch and they can figure out what I'm trying to say to them. So any document that I want them to be able to read that they can't, I hit translate and I get my own copy in the language that I want to translate to. It is magical. We have a high transitioning ESL population and I don't speak any other language other than English.
And it does save a fresh copy in that language, so you're not changing your original. It automatically makes a copy and translates it.
Beautiful thing. I have my original document, and then I have my translated document ready to go, ready to share with any parent who's coming in and we're trying to register their child.
Voice typing. Did you know you can do this? If you go to the tools menu and you drop down and you do voice typing and you talk to your screen, it will type. I have children who teach, well, I teach 7th graders, right? Okay, so our students break easily and they do the things that will make them break. Mrs. Steigerwald, I broke my wrist. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. I'm not. I don't have to do any work for 3 weeks. Yeah, that's what you think. Go to that tools menu, drop down. You see where it says voice typing? Yep, that's where you're going to say your answers. Good work. I'll inspect that tomorrow. I love their faces. I'm supposed to stay behind this thing, aren't I?
You are.
Hello, people watching from home.
Hey, this is my favorite thing that Google does and does well is the version history. And anyone who works with middle school kids, you need to know where the version history is because they love to delete documents and change documents and type inappropriate things and delete them like you'll never know they're there, and you'll see a group of heads start going together and the giggles will break out, and you'll just walk over and say, hey Tommy, can you pull up your version history? And he looks at you like, oh shoot, you know that trick. And I pull it up and I go, oh, you're writing in yellow, and oh, that yellow dot is you, and it says poop. And it doesn't say poop, but we know what you mean.
She's a far more innocent.
They don't like that very much when you use it, but it's a great tool. It's also really, really, really important when a teacher gets into your document that you've shared and allowed editing, and they accidentally, because God love them, I'm going to turn my back on here because you know me. My ELA teachers love to delete things.
We do.
And then when they do it, they call me frantic. I screwed it up. I can't do it. I go down, we find the version history, we restore it. And voila, everything is back and magical.
I actually used this today because I realized I had deleted up some of our slides.
Oops. She was dealing with the redhead.
I didn't tell her that I deleted the slides. Version history. The Explore tool. Were any of you over at the Google Playground today or yesterday over at the hotel? It's okay if you didn't come over. It's snowing. I understand. I wouldn't have gone either if I wasn't presenting it. Google Explore. So, this is my report about Vincent van Gogh. He was an artist. He cut off his own ear. The end. Okay, honey, but we got to put a little bit more detail in that. So they do what? They go out to Google and they Google Vincent van Gogh and they just find, and that's what they do. So I work a lot with writing and having to get kids to be more robust in their writing. So the Explore tool is awesome. So they can highlight anything in their text already. So it doesn't necessarily need to be the main topic. If I say, all right, but I feel like you need to pull out a little bit more, most people probably don't know what this is. Maybe you want to put a picture with a caption, maybe you want to give a little bit more explanation. So they can highlight any text that's already in what they've written, click on the Explore tool, which is in Tools, Explore, and then it will in the sidebar pop up websites, images. If you pull it in, it will actually put the URL of that source right there. Hello, citing our sources. Woot woot! Emily.
Is it safe? Like, you know that any websites they find are kid appropriate?
So it's the same filters that your school has for normal Google searching, because it is still using the Google search engine. So that's whatever your school has, that's what they have.
And are images that Creative Commons thing, are there any?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a good question. I feel like catch. Yay, bees!
Hey, so round two. The wonderful accessories that everybody has to have. Ladies, we're not just talking about your purses, men, your man purses, whatever you guys want to use. We're talking about the things you need to use to dress up your Google tools. So we're going to whip through these. We're going to start with slides. That's what we're using right now.
It is.
Start with that.
We do love it.
So add-ons are wonderful things, and if you're not familiar with slide add-ons, or you have some great slide add-ons you want to share, please feel free to chime in.
Yes, we're going to have a spot for that too. All right, so Unsplash Photos. Emily actually just asked about Creative Commons. So Unsplash Photos, we don't want kids just grabbing photos from anywhere. Unsplash actually has an add-on. You just go into Slides, go to Add-ons, Get Add-ons, Unsplash. And they have photos. So these aren't clip art or things like that. They're actual photos. The license is usable even for commercial. So it's the most open license that they have. And they can type in what they want and they can get images right there. So if you want to limit their searching, if you want to make sure that they're using something they're allowed to use, then Unsplash Photos is fantastic. Unsplash is also a website, so if you yourself want to go out and use it for other things, you totally can, but I really like that it's right in-house. Bless you. They are not going to other websites, they're just staying in their created item, whether it is slides. Yeah, it is a slides. It is a slides one.
Okay, Paletti, for those of you who are color challenged, not a designer, me, not artistic in the slightest, stick figures are a hard thing for me. I always struggle with color coordinating my slides and making them look pretty. Paletti is a great add-on. It allows you to choose from lots and lots and lots of different types of add-ons. So if I choose number 4, Cheer Me Up, then I can shuffle the colors and remix them until I find exactly what I want to have. And I'll have a beautiful slide deck the whole way through. And I can apply it on just that slide or on the entire deck. So real easy way to make a pretty presentation.
Because really, it's all about the pretty. True, right? I mean, nobody's reading the slides. That's what Nearpod's for. Photo slideshow. Any of you, like me, have a lot of events where you're like, I want the parents to see the photos, or you have an end of year slideshow you have to put together? Any of you? Yeah, okay. So the hardest part about that, right, is going and finding the photos and resizing the photos and putting the photos in and making sure they're all consistent and doing all the things. All the stuff, right? Photo slideshow is going to change your life. Because you put all your photos in a folder in Google Drive. Go to slide deck. You do the add-on. You say, I want the folders, or the pictures, from this folder. And you sit there, and you sip a beverage for maybe like 2 minutes. You know.
Preferably a chocolate tea.
Yeah. When in Hershey. Yes. Do as the Hershins? Is that what you just said?
I try, Karen.
I don't know what you would call them. Reese's? The pieces?
Pieces.
When in Hershey, do as the pieces?
That's not two pieces. That's not nice.
Yeah. I don't know. Anybody here from Hershey? Oh, good.
Do you go by Hershey's?
What do you call yourselves?
I don't know. We'll have to research that. We'll explore it later.
Yeah. All right. So you say, look, and you take your sip and you wait, and all of a sudden, all of your slides are now each pictures. Voila. And then you go to File, Publish, and you tell it yes, and you copy that website, and you put it up on back to school night, and as the parents are coming in, they are watching that slideshow, and if your district is like mine and the parents show up half an hour early, that is a beautiful thing, that they are sitting there and watching those slides.
Because they're glued to it.
They are. Because they want to see their
There's little promos.
But it will save you a ton of time. What else is really nice about that is you get the link that you publish and you can throw it on your website. So hey, here are the pictures from our field trip. Hey, here are the pictures from this event. Hey, here's what's been going on all year long in your child's classroom. And as you add things to the folder, you can just refresh and it pops back in.
Hey, so any math teachers in the room? Because my math teachers always tell me how much Google does not work for math teachers. And I said, oh, this is a really important add-on for Google Slides because you can do math on Google Slides. So Math Equations is an add-on that's beautiful. It lets you make equations. They actually look quite pretty. You can play with the type of format you want to have, and you just bop them into your slides and resize. So it is a wonderful add-on. Fractions and all those things you can't do, you can do. I don't know what any of that means. Shh, Karen. It's math. It's okay.
There was a reason I became an English teacher.
I can't imagine. You're not wordy or anything.
No. I don't like to talk. What are you talking about? All right. Docs. I do love my docs because English teacher.
English teacher.
You know.
So, as a tech coach, this is one of my ELA teachers' favorite things. And I'm showing it in the background here. But if you're not familiar with the draft back add-on, you should be. Because it's really, really nice when it comes to conferencing with your students about their writing, because you click on a button and it literally loads a video of your student drafting their paper, and you can watch it in real time, or you can watch it in fast forward time. And I always like to do that with the students when I'm conferencing, just to talk about why they revised something, but I also like to pull it up when little Johnny's paper looks a lot like some website or very, very known published work that I know is not his words because the vocabulary should not come out of his mouth if I paid him money. And I go back there and I go, how did you get 3 paragraphs of text generated like that? That's a big copy and paste moment. So let's talk about plagiarism. Let's talk about how you actually conduct your own text.
Or if you know that some kids were doing some nasty things and nobody's owning up to it and you don't want to sit there and go through every version history, you can just watch it, figure out where in the timeline it was, and then go to that version history at the same time. Yeah.
Now, important to note, they have to share their documents. You issue. You have to have ownership of it to see it and draft back. But it is a wonderful tool to pull out for
Wait, so
conferencing.
it has to be like submitted or just shared with you?
Share it, share it.
So they can still
I
have
share my
editing
doc.
rights.
Right.
Yep,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So-
just wanted to make sure.
so
As long as I also
yeah.
have the ability to see it, then I
Gotcha.
have it.
So my LMS is Schoology, and I do a lot of the like assignment that's a Google Doc. But since that's already shared with me, I can run draft back on anything I want.
Does Dropbox have to be installed then on what they're using?
No, you can have it on yours and run it. They don't have to have it.
I do it on mine.
Here, catch.
Go up there, share a document, and read it.
It's call me. It's fine.
So, is this the Google add-on?
Talk into the wall.
Is this the Google add-on?
It
This
is
is
a
an add-on.
Google Doc
I
add-on.
can't find it.
It's an extension.
Oh, it's an extension. Sorry, it's an extension.
Sorry, thank you.
Okay.
Change it.
Extension.
Woo!
Oh.
Now, it's filmy, it doesn't hurt, Karen.
Also not a phys ed teacher. Clearly.
Extension.
Yeah, so how do you find extensions?
Okay.
You go to the Chrome store, just Google Chrome store. And you go to
Chrome
Chrome
Web
store. Literally, I don't know what the web address for Chrome store is, I just Google
Chrome
Chrome
Web
store.
Store.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, I'm good. RIQ. So sadly, English teacher, where are my English people?
They're all over the room.
Yes, okay. So, sadly, there is no magical thing to grade essays for you, but RIQ comes pretty close because it will grade the common things that a computer can grade. So, you set it up the first time, it'll ask you, are you a teacher, are you a student? And you say, I'm a teacher, and a kid submits their writing, you run it through RIQ, you tell it, is it narrative, informative, persuasive? There are seats, come on in. Narrative, performative, informative, persuasive, just seriously. And what grade they are, and then it will run it through for spelling, mechanics, and usage errors. It will highlight in different colors and give the kids a key, spelling, mechanics, usage. It will give you a score for that, and then give you a rubric to check off for things like content, focus, and the real things that a human has to grade. You can click on the different squares, and it'll embed that rubric into, it gives you a spot to write comments as well, embed that into their document and highlight their different mistakes, like that. Pretty awesome. That is an add-on. That is an add-on. WRIQ. Yes.
The one that you just showed us, does it
RIQ?
Yes.
Or
If it's something that's incorrect, like now you can control M. Like if you're checking it, you control M and it highlights it and you can tell them what's wrong. Like does it give them the ability to go back and fix it? Like that you could use this as an editing for them? Like
You can. So
okay.
you don't actually have to include the rubric on it. You can just use it for that part. So they can actually have this on theirs
And does it tell them
run
why
it
it's
through.
wrong?
It
Give
does.
them the coding so they'll know if it's usage or if it's.
Yes, but it also will tell them, like, typically you don't put two spaces between the quotation marks and the, whatever. Or, this is, it's free and it's cool. It's made by the same people who do Read, Write, Think. Yes?
I just talked to Textel. It's going to be a charged item. It's free.
Oh, get it now!
Get it soon.
She said it's gonna be paid soon. Hopefully they'll grandfather in. Read RIQ, yeah. So hopefully they will grandfather it in.
Grab it before they charge it. Man. Okay, so BIMME, again, this is one of my ELA teachers' favorite things. It took us forever when we were in school, and I'm talking for me because some of you are young enough to be my kids, had to go to school and actually memorize where every colon, comma, indent, hanging indent is enough of a pain for kids to learn how to do. Mm-hmm. So this does it all for them. So this is an add-on on Docs. They add this add-on, EasyWeb, and then they can either cite a book, a journal article, or a website. So if I'm doing a book, I type in the title or the ISBN number. We find with the older books,
Yeah,
not that I'm picking on old things, but the older books that are really hard to find, the ISBN number pops it right up. It comes up like this, and then I just say, this is the one I want, click, add it to my biography. It creates the whole biography for me and puts it in ABC order.
It does. And if you're in grad class, this is awesome.
Heaven.
Can you switch the style? Yeah, you can.
Yes.
Okay.
So you go between them and you can switch your style between MLA and APA. Yes. So it is a wonderful tool. I have found that research gives less tears with this add-on.
Template gallery. So those of us who also use Word or are used to having all of the templates that Word provides, sometimes you really miss having those templates, like calendars, blank calendars from Publisher and things like that. So template gallery, there's one for slides, or sorry, there's one for sheets and there's one for docs. So if you go into template gallery, you can find it in a couple of different places. They are add-ons for each of the different ones, and you do need to add it on for each of the different apps. If you do it for docs, it isn't automatically going to be added in for the others. But it lets you search for templates. So there's resume templates, there's calendar templates, there's assignment book templates, there's financial documents, in case you want to do math. I don't know. But they're great time savers. If you're working with kids who are doing college and career readiness and you're trying to get resumes together, this is a great tool for them.
Easy accents for my foreign language teachers or my ESL teachers. The lovely thing is I always hear, well, how do I write my stuff in Google Docs, or how do I make things work because my kids have accents depending on the language they're writing in. You can go and add easy accents, and then it will pick the language you want and it will put the accents in for you. So I typed, hello, my name is Missy, and it promptly spit back out, hola, mi nombre es Missy. Now I hablo un poco español muy mal. So.
But it's nice because especially for kids who have special characters in their names, and I feel like your name is a really important part of your identity, and to not be able to write it correctly, that can be upsetting for a kid. So this way they can get all the different characters that they need. Alright, so sheets! Woo! Because, I mean, it's called Girls Gone Google, and you know we're talking about sheets.
Oh.
They're probably watching this in the control room going, that girl is off the list. She's never presenting again. Alright, how many of you know Flippity?
The bunny lady's going to talk about Flippity.
Flippy floppy. You're so cute. How many of you have never heard of Flippity? Oh, we are gonna blow some minds today! Alright, seriously, it's like a fairy godmother for your teacher life. It is a Sheets add-on. It is also a website, so if you don't want to do the add-on right now, if you open a tab and go to flippity.net, you'll see. First of all, what's awesome about Flippity is that they are constantly adding new things. But what's really fantastic about it is how much time it can save you. Because you type things once in one spreadsheet and then you can use it for so many different things. For example, you type your class roster once. And now you can use the Flippity add-on for random name choosing, and it will give you a nice pretty spinner of all their names.
No more popsicle sticks, elementary teachers.
But it will also do random group generator. Because in middle school, I'm not
anybody.
No, you can't choose your own groups. The computer is choosing your group. I don't like kids in my group. I don't care. The universe thought you should work with them today.
Alice really said so too. You have to work with people.
Don't argue with me.
It's Google. It was Flippity.
It was Google. Okay, and the people from my district right now are like, oh God, I can hear her saying that to the students. But yeah, I do. I'm like, the universe thought you should work together. But what's great is you can say, I want groups of 2, I want groups of 3, I want groups of 4, I want groups of 5, I want groups of 6. I want 2 teams. I want 3 teams. I want an order. I want a bracket. March Madness is coming, people. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to be your students' names. You can put in evil villains from literature. You can put in which periodic element is the best, and it will create
tech tools.
And it will create brackets for you. It will also. I want groups of 5. Okay, right? Hand out my articles, and then puzzle piece. Click the puzzle piece. It will jigsaw those groups for you. Right? And you typed the names how many times? Once. If a new kid moves into your class, you add them to the list. And if a kid leaves, you delete them from the list. That never happens. I just keep getting more.
Question?
So if the universe wasn't there that two students
You can hit shuffle.
The shuffle button is my best friend. Oh no, you didn't see that click. Sorry, you just accidentally moved. I don't know how that happened.
If I have a class where I know I have some real issues in it, I will often open that up and make the groups on a tab prior to the children entering the room. and then I will take a screenshot. One thing you should know about that particular feature of it is every time you open it, it will be different. So if you plan on keeping those groups for more than one day, take a screenshot. And save it. But that's just one piece of Flippity, is the random name chooser. You also have a flashcard generator where you type the front side and the back side once. You can make a list, you can embed the flashcards, but wait, there's more. You can then, from that same place, you can turn it into a list the kids can print to study. And hey, you can add images, you can add every language Google has, you can add spoken things. You can then take those flashcards and do a hangman game with it, or they can do a matching where they drag together, or you can, they can make a crossword puzzle, or they can print out a quiz. Do you know, I love when they, Mrs. Steigerwald, is it okay if on Flippity, there's this thing and it says I can print a quiz. Is it okay if I print out a quiz for me to study?
No! Said no teacher
Well,
ever.
I mean, I guess, if you really want to. I mean, wow, can you show me how you did that? Because I've never seen that before. Sure, right? Until, except for last period. Yeah. But kids will actually, they've started making their own flashcard sets for other classes. Right? And they're like, hey, can Mrs. Steigerwald, can you put this on, because I want to, and they're like, all right. But it's awesome. Awesome. And then they also have Timeline Builder, which is in Sheets. The kids put the events in order in the timeline. It makes it on Sheets. It makes it into a timeline. Yes?
So, when you're saying the quiz, like if I made flashcards and made a whole quiz and I wanted to just like print that and use that as my quiz, does it generate a new quiz?
Yes.
Every time?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. It is. I agree. And then you can also make scavenger hunts, which are kind of like breakouts, but it goes in order. So you give the clue and they open the lock, you give a clue and they open the lock. You can do mastery quizzes where they have to get a certain level of the quiz and it prints out a certificate for them. You can do fancy text generator where like it makes it fun letters if you're looking for name tags or something like that. It
does that a lot.
It does all Jeopardy, all the things. I mean, you should. Do you all know about the Pete and C date? No. Okay. Listen to me. It's called Girls Gone Google. You're going on a date. Next week, you're gonna look at. Before you leave here, you're gonna look at your calendar for next week. You're gonna find 2 hours where you are not committed to something.
And you can find 2. It's a priority.
You can. And you are going to put it on your calendar so everyone knows you're busy. And you are going to take yourself to an establishment.
Away from kids and laundry.
Don't take
and
anyone
graded
with
work.
you. Yeah, no. Okay? You go, you drink a cup of coffee, you drink wine, whatever. And you sit down and you go through all the stuff you learned here. Like, it kind of sounds goofy the way I'm saying it, but this is a priority, because otherwise you're going to forget everything you were so excited about. So, make your date. Flippity should be on your list.
Okay, so Autocrat is one of my best friends as a tech coach because I am constantly trying to tell my teachers, thank you for coming to this session, thank you for being involved. I want to give them a certificate because they love certificates. They put them all over the place, and their kids do as well when they participate in events. So Autocrat does the work for me. I have a form when they sign up for a session. They fill in their name, they fill in the date, they fill in the time, they pick the session name out of the drop down, and magically when it populates into my sheet, it runs automatically. And voila, in their email comes a certificate filled in with their name, the date, the session title, how many hours it was worth, and I have to do none of it other than set it up ahead of time. It's a little tedious, it takes a little time, but it's worth it to set it up. So there's a little, what are you pointing at?
I'm pointing at the fact that you did this for them.
I did. Oh, everybody go here, please, if you have time. https://goo.gl/D_S_H_J_M_E and fill out that form.
And you too will get a certificate that you can take back to school and show, look, I did a thing.
I did go to a session. I was not just drinking chocolatinis by the fireplace.
With the Hershens.
And that tech lady did it from the front of the room while she was talking, and she never touched her computer. It's really cool. So you, as the principal, could do this for observations. No more waiting 20 days for feedback. Not that they ever do that, sorry. But you get it instantaneously. They go check, check, check. I saw this, I saw this, I saw this. Here's my comment about it, and voila, right into your email. And they don't have to do anything else other than fill out that form when they're walking through your room. It's a
This is great
beautiful
for professional
thing.
development.
Wonderful. For Christmas, we did the 12 Days of Tech Mess. People did flip group videos on different tools, and they all got certificates. And they were like, "When are you doing this? I just saw you running through the building. How did I get?" I'm like, "It's magic. Come see me. We'll
It's
talk
great
about
too
it."
if you have an initiative in your building and you want everybody to learn it. Once they do things, you can get them to do this.
So if you filled out the form, you should receive an email.
Yeah, I
from
see
me.
some of them are.
Some of
looking
you are
at
already
it.
getting them.
Woo!
Beautiful.
Look, we did that automatic.
Magic.
Automagic. Right
So
there.
Autocrat is a beautiful thing. It does take a little bit to fill it out. I'm not gonna lie, the first few times there was a lot of redhead moments and some language choices that were not appropriate for years.
But look, she gave you a video tutorial.
I did. I gave you a video tutorial to make it easy. You can click on that and watch that at home, and it will make you not have gray hairs and redheaded moments.
And this is a tutorial of how to set it up.
It is. It goes the whole way through the process of setting up. And it works for slides and for docs. So you can set your template up as a doc, or you can set it up as a slide. I like slides because they're prettier and you can arrange things where you want to, where docs are pretty standard. So if I want something pretty, like your shirts, I'm going to use slides. I can pretty them up a little bit more. So.
Formule is fantastic. So I teach middle school, and which I think I mentioned like 17 times now. There we go. 18. So I forget sometimes. I used to teach elementary. In elementary, when you ask for volunteers from the parents, right, to go on a field trip, 70% of them will say, "I want to go," and then they wait. And they wait to see if they've been picked. Will they be the parent who goes to the pumpkin patch? Hey, in middle school, you want to spend your day with 150 hormonal teenagers? Come on down! We're not turning anyone away.
Unless you don't have your clearances, in which case, get it. Right. So my form to sign up is set up with Formule. Mules kick. Formule will kick an email out for whatever reason you set up. So it sets it up. It says, okay, template number 1. If they check off that yes, they want to help for our STEM day, then they are going to get this email that says, "Thank you so much for volunteering. You'll get another email closer to the date with more details, but here's what you should know now." And it doesn't matter if it's 3 in the morning when they're filling it out. I'm sending them an email at 3:01.
So it looks like she's working all day long.
Yeah, they think I'm a bat.
Does this have to run through Gmail to work?
No.
No?
They can have any email they want. Some of them are really
No, I
interesting
mean you
ones.
as the user.
No.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
So you're
Nope.
using tools.
Nope. Yeah, we use Outlook.
Okay, that's what we
Yeah,
have.
we use GroupWise. It works.
So it sends it out. What I've also used it for is, so I have left my students alone for 3 days. I mean, there's a sub, but I'm not there. But I can have a help form. I mean, Mrs. Steigerwalt, I need help. And so they will fill it out, and it will generate an email to me that says, this child has this problem, get back to them. So I'm getting it in my inbox. So any of you who have to take care of the actual computer side of things, or if you are a person who's not always in the classrooms, you could actually set it up as a Google form, and then on the Sheets side, you set it up so that anytime somebody fills out that help form, you get an email.
So I was just playing around with the Google form like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
There was a button like on the Google form that said send me an email whenever someone fills this out.
And that's great if you are the only one who wants it or needs it,
Okay.
but if you want to
I
send it
was.
to
It
multiple
was just me.
inboxes,
Or
Okay.
if you want to send back a confirmation to them, thank you so much for letting me know. I will get on
got
this
your
as soon as
message,
I
I'll get
can.
back to you as soon as possible.
Okay.
If
You
it's
can
an
also-
emergency, call
yeah.
my cell phone, because you will.
You can also set it up that it sends the email to them on submission, or that it sends every hour. So if you are using it as a help desk and you don't want one every however, you can do it every hour, send me whatever's come in since the last hour. But it's great, because you can set, and I said, you know, if you don't have your clearances, we don't want you. I can set up a second template. If they click that they don't have their clearances, send them a thank you so much for your willingness to volunteer. We do, however, need you to have your clearances on file. Here's where you can go to get them on file. Please let me know if you'd still like to volunteer once you have them.
Okay, so Sheets is my kryptonite. I'll be the first one to admit that was the area as a trainer that I need to work the hardest at, because I, like Karen, started out my life with an English minor, and it was my kryptonite. I just couldn't get it. And I really didn't like that it couldn't look pretty. Sheets pretty boring. I need them to look pretty. I need them to look functional. I need colors because I'm a visual person. I need to see where things are. So the nice thing about table styles is that you can set your table style over here and then push it out and highlight the selection you want to look like that, and it goes out and it makes it look the way you want it to. So you can make it uniform. You can change your fonts. You can do everything here that you want to do. Select whether it's the row or the total table and push it out so that you have a color coordinated table that works for you visually.
So if you have people who also really miss that aspect from Excel into Sheets,
I hear that all the time. Excel did, this does it. You just have to get the right add-on. So table styles is awesome because it just makes it look a lot friendlier.
and crop sheets. So clearly I was really being unique when I was coming up with my sample. Look, it's me!
You were worried they'd forget how to spell your name.
Yes, because I forget how to spell my name.
So if you only want your students to see the portion of the spreadsheet that is relevant, okay, or if there's stuff in the spreadsheet that you don't necessarily need them seeing, like you have scores or other things there, you can actually use crop sheet and you can crop to just the part that you want them to see. And then when they click on the sheet, that's what they get. It's called crop sheet. That's what it does.
It is crop sheet. It does crop sheet. It's kind of nice when you have a big detailed thing and you just want to submit one response.
Okay, it's our first Easter egg. Woo! Do you know the pride trick? All right, open up a Google Sheet.
Everybody,
Go, do it. Do it.
Have to.
You can. You're gonna be. It's gonna be one of those moments. One of those moments.
Cool trip.
We did not make this. Google did this. You're right behind me,
I'm
aren't
walking
you?
around here.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Okay, so in box A1, type a capital letter P. In box B1, you know where this is going. Type a capital R. C1 is I. D1 is.
What's E1, everybody?
And F1 is E.
And
Right?
Isn't that
Oh, your faces were priceless. I got this. Great. It was great. That was awesome.
If you don't want to make an add-on to pretty it, just private.
Right. And then just hide row A, or row 1. Hide row 1. And then they won't be able to change it. Just hide the row. There you go. Because isn't it nice to be able to have your columns different colors so that you know what you're looking at?
Yeah.
Boom. Done. Plus, you know, pride. All right, forms.
On to forms.
Woo!
Marching
Where are
right
we
through.
at?
How are we doing?
We're good. 20 minutes.
Okay, forms. Choice eliminator, because we all have things we want kids to sign up
They
for.
like pride.
They like pride. You tell them to don't want pride.
You can't do it.
So we all have things we want kids to sign up for, and we don't want them all to sign up for the same topic or the same type of project. We want to differentiate a little bit. Choice Eliminator will allow you, it's an add-on on forms, and it will allow you to set a maximum number. So if I want my kids to work on reporting out about Google Classroom, and only 5 of them to do that, I can choose 5. If I want them to work on sites, I can set my limits. So I have my limits here, and then when they sign up on the form, that choice just disappears from their options. Done. And now I know that Susie's going to do her report on the Gettysburg Address, and Johnny's going to do his report on Lincoln, and so and so and so forth. But I'm going to have a limited number.
Just so you know, somebody in the audience reminded me, when you search for it, you actually have to search for Choice Eliminator 2. The digit 2.
2. Sorry. Thank you. Choice Eliminator 2.
Form limiter limits your form to number or time. Fair warning, if you work in my building, I showed our secretary this, and signing up for supplies for next year might be a little exciting.
Better sign up fast.
Yeah. So you can actually limit your form to the number, so I can take 10 people to this conference. The first 10 who get to fill out the form, and after that, if they click on the link to the form, it says this form is no longer accepting
responses.
Or you can set it for a time, and this is where my secretary is like, oh, So after the due date for your supply order, I can have the message say, too late, if you want pencils next year, bring me chocolate. I'm like, yes, you absolutely can do that. So if you are a secondary teacher and you told the kids that they had to have their topic selection done by Friday, and Friday at noon you set it so it says, too bad, so sad, go see your teacher. You're late, you can. I know.
Chocolate for choice. I'm seeing a theme. Okay, form recycler. Here's the best thing since sliced bread for me, because as a coach, I'm always doing forms with my faculty that I'm working with to get their feedback, their goals, and I get tired of doing the same form over and over and over again, or kicking out the responses. I want to keep them. So now you have the ability to recycle form questions. So if I'm working on a new form, I can go to an old form and I can pick the questions I want on that form and just cart them right over to the new form and start all over again. Don't have to redo them. It's quick, it's easy, it saves a whole lot of time.
So, I have a question.
Yes?
How is that different, because this is what I've been intending to do, making a copy of the form?
I don't want the whole form now. And if I can just go and punch ding ding ding, I want those 3 and add my own.
Okay.
I've saved a lot of time and I haven't added a new form in my mailbox that I don't want and have it junking it up. So form recycler, just take the questions you want. It even brings the points over. So if you made it a quiz, the points can come right over again. So if I'm changing my quiz from year to year, I just take those ones I want to use again and pull them over and then redo the rest of it.
So you can differentiate really easily too for different levels.
Which is kind of nice.
Form publisher, so let's say you want kids to be doing a journal, or you want them to do a report out at the end of the day of what their group was able to accomplish. But you don't want it just to disappear, nor do you want the kids to see everybody's responses in a spreadsheet by sharing the results. What Form Publisher will do is you can set up either a doc or a sheet template, and like I said, like Missy said with AutoCAD a little earlier, the first couple times you set it up, it walks you through it, but you probably want to do this the night before and not your prep period right before the first time. Not that we ever do that. A unit reflection, what's your name? How well do you think you understood this unit? What's something you have as a goal for your next unit? What's the one thing you wish we'd spent more time on? Things like that, but you want kids to be able to see it. It will actually create a template that you can also edit the template. So if you want to make things bold or different things or have tables and put things in, you can actually set it up and it will send a copy right into your drive in a folder that you designate, and it will send a copy, if you want, if you click that button, to the person's email. So you can have kids get a copy of their responses too, if you want. Okay?
Form notifications we were talking about earlier. I believe, Corey, you brought it up. So you're talking about the fact that you could fill in the addresses if you wanted to get notified every time someone filled out something. So as a tech coach, when someone requests me, I want an email in my email address that tells me exactly what they had to say. So it kicks me a form and I get it, and then I can respond to them and get back to them with what they need, supplies they need, or whether they want an appointment. It's an easy way to do that. So I set it, fill it out, and I can also say whether they get a copy of the email as well. And at the bottom I have an automatic statement that says, thank you for filling out my form, and it tells them what else I want them to know. It just kicks it right out to them, and they have it, and I have it, and it's a good accountability tool.
Alright, round 3, because who has time for all that? These are shortcuts in the googly world, because we do not have time. No teacher ever said, no, I have so much free time, I don't even know what to do. No one said that. You didn't even say that over the summer. We know what to do.
So if you're in a Google slideshow, which most of you are right now, and you hit Control-D, it automatically duplicates the slide. So everything you have on that slide copies over, and then you just change the text or the images that you want to change. There was a whole lot of Control-D going on in making this presentation.
Yes, and it'll also actually do that for anything within the slide too. So instead of Control-C, Control-V to copy and paste something, just Control-D and it'll make a duplicate of exactly what you want. When you're in your drive, if you right-click on, or you click once on an item in your drive, you know how you have to click twice to open it? If you just click once to highlight it, if you press a capital N, it'll open up the rename. Capital S, it'll star it or unstar it for you automatically. Z will organize, so it brings up the little bubble of where you want to put it. And then a period opens up the share window.
So it's kind of nice. You don't have to go into the document, open it up, hit share. No, you just do it all from the drive.
Right there.
Okay, this is my favorite one. This always wows people in professional development because we just had that moment earlier when Pandora got shut by accident.
Whoops.
Oh no! Instead of panicking, we just hit Control, Shift, and T, and the tab just magically pops back up, and we continue like nothing ever happened. It is a wonderful thing. Especially when you're a teacher and you have 10 million tabs going on, and I always say I'm just like a browser. I never know which one's playing the music.
If you're in a slide or docs or wherever you are and you need to nudge your picture a little, if you shift arrow, you can nudge.
Really nice when you're trying to do something on the slide, make it look pretty, and it just isn't right where you want it.
Not just you, but also the students. You know, they get frustrated sometimes by not being able to get the control arrow, and you can nudge them.
We already did that one. We're going to have to do it again.
Okay, so if you're in a sheet and you want to fill something down, so a lot of times I have to organize my students into classrooms, and I'm the team leader, so I have their homerooms and I want to put them all in this room or this activity or whatever. So I copy and paste their names from my roster, put it in, and I want to say like all these kids are going to station 1 first. So if I just type 1 in the first box, and then you know how the little, you hover over the cell, the little thing pops up, there's a little square on the bottom right for you, bottom right. And then if you double click that, it will fill that same value all the way down until there's a break.
Not retyping the same data over and over and over again. Control plus K, if I want to add a link to something, I want to add a link to the video tutorial on how to autocraft, I just highlight, hit Control plus K, and the link add-on pops up for you. Saves you a lot of time. You don't have to go in there and insert link.
If you just are in your drive and you press the question mark button, it will bring up the search drive. Not that we've ever lost a document in our drive.
No one.
Every day. But you just question mark, search drive.
Color coding your folders. If you don't already do that, you should be doing that, because I know the Google Drive gets extensive and lots of folders and they're all gray, and it is so confusing to find things. So if you color code them, right click on them, select a color. I color code them by subject, I color code them by department that I work with, I color code them by importance. So if it's a red folder, you better guarantee I'm in there all the time and I need to find it like that. So color coding is a good tool.
Emily?
I color code all the time, and I have found that if you're in a shared folder, so like my admin shared the lesson plan folder and all of our lesson plan folder are in there, I color coded mine and she doesn't see it. So it doesn't affect anybody else, it's just on your side.
That's awesome.
So, fun fact.
If you right click on a tab, you get all sorts of googly goodness. So if you have a tab open right now, if you right click on it, you can see that you can pin that tab so that it will be there every time you open your Chrome browser. If you can mute a tab, so if you're showing a video and you have that tab opened so that you can get to it for every class, but you don't want it to accidentally play, or if you're listening to music to calm yourself down during the prep and you don't want it open, or if you're going to play music for the kids in class but you want to quiet for a while, you can actually mute the tab right there. You can also reopen a closed tab, so if you close a tab, you can right click on any tab that's open and reopen it, get your new tab right there. So all sorts of googly goodness right there by right clicking your tab.
Control plus the slash opens a list of shortcuts for you in case you forget the shortcuts, because we do that, we say them all the time and then we forget what they are. Control plus the forward slash gives you a list of shortcuts that you can use.
And this is great for your students if they're in slides or they're in docs or they're in sheets or they're in their drive. They don't necessarily know intrinsically why paste is Control V because they don't know it meant Velcro. They're like, I don't know. So they're like, why is V? So they can actually, that is why. Because Control P is print. So they had to come up with something for paste. That's why. So, but if you teach them this, then they can independently check the list of shortcuts and see what they can do. And then they can teach other people, like you. Alright, so we know that there have been some changes to the program, but if you are totally gaga over Google and you want to learn more, we do want to give a little bit of a shout out to some of the things going on. Certification. So you heard us say I was level 2 and Missy's a certified trainer. Chris McCaffrey is doing one tomorrow morning. in the other hallway in Wild Rose, that way, sorry, maps, that way for Wild Rose, if you are interested in getting certified yourself. It's really,
they've been doing playgrounds all week.
Yep.
They're really cool, like poster session on different Google topics. You can hang out, talk to people you want to, see things you want to see, and just keep moving.
Dynamic documentation of learning is today, after this, over in Wild Rose AV. So if you're a person who works with students that you need to document a lot of what they're doing, that'd be a great one to check out.
And Leslie Fisher is always amazing, and she's going to talk about Google you might not know.
Environmental science tutor creator, any science teachers in the bunch? Mike Podisky is a great guy. He's part of PAECT as well, and he's going to be going on right after this next door.
And getting lit, you know, first you went to Girls Talk Google, and they're showing you your tips. Now you're going to go get lit with Google. There's a little bad Google mojo going on. You know,
Or
check that out.
great Google mojo.
And our last Easter egg.
All right, so if you want to know how we did this,
Thank you, Kristen.
show us your tips and we'll show you ours. So if you go click on this link, it's going to take you to a Padlet. It will tell you how we did this, and it gives you a chance to show off some of your Google favorites, extensions, add-ons, apps, other tricks and tools that you want to do. And if you want to tell us about them, we'll toss the ball around and you can share. So
I'll share one.
share one, yeah?
So there's an add-on called Tab Snooze. I don't know if anybody's ever used Tab Snooze. Actually, maybe, I'm sorry, it's an extension, not an add-on. It's called Tab Snooze. You can actually program what time you want tabs to open and close. So like, I know at 8:20, I need attendance to pop up, and it can go away by 8:30 because I need to have taken attendance by then. So it just automatically pops up, and then I can come back to it.
Very cool. Anyone else want to share one?
The name may have chosen to snooze this tab, but I think it's still called Tab Snooze. I think that's just what it says when I go over it.
I'm so sorry. I'm beaming over here.
There are people putting things in there. We got a choice eliminator tip. To use the drop-down questions instead of multiple choice. That does make things much, much better.
You already shared his. He's going to share.
Oh, I'm
Give
sorry.
him some beads. He stole
Oh, but I will give you beads. I'm not going to toss them at you because I don't want to hurt anyone.
Yeah, no, just using the drop down, we use it for sign-ups for staff events. And if you do a multiple choice, sometimes the answer comes in too quickly. So if it's 5, that 6th person still sees the option because it didn't take it out of the program yet. So if you do the drop down, it gives you a little delay for them having to search the option, and that helps you cheat the system.
Yep.
I got beat.
All right. So if we have about 5 minutes, so feel free to put your apps in, your advice in. You'll still have time to get to your next session on time, I swear. But if you do have any questions, we are easily findable on Twitter. Please reach out to us. You have our email addresses as well in the beginning of the slide. Please feel free to share this back with your schools. If they have questions, they can get in touch with us. Not kidding. Make sure you sign up for PAECT. And our principal in the room needs to make sure she nominates a KTI. Yeah, I did remember that from the beginning. That's impressive. But thank you. Oh, questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Yeah, we can go ahead.
No, wait, ask your question. And then we'll.
A couple slides ago, different sessions that you were recommending.
Yes.
That one. No, the next one back. Yes. Here? Yeah, because I'm not seeing that come up. That wasn't one that was canceled.
I don't know. Which one are you looking at? The certification one tomorrow.
Yeah, the Google. Oh, it's tomorrow morning. Never mind. I was looking at 3:45. I just want to take a picture now. Thank
you so much. Get googly. Woo!
I'm sitting here trying to remember what it was because I haven't done it for a while. But if you go to your browser for your URL, you just type in dot. I can't remember what it is now. Google just started doing it. You can go directly to like a brand new dot.
Oh yeah. What is it? I know exactly what you're talking about. Like new doc or something like that. Yeah. I forget what it is. Yeah, it'll automatically open one up.
I was going to volunteer to share that one.
It's alright, that Padlet will not go away. You can find it and add it.
Thanks, there's a lot of great information.
Here, yesterday you said you were going to show how you could force it to make it a copy when you have like a document or something. If If I
Yes.
was gonna push it, how do I do that?
Do you have the slides from yesterday?
I do.
There
it
is
in
a
there?
video. It says, and here's how.
Okay.
All
I just wanted
on
to
that.
make sure I
It's on the
didn't miss
brain. No,
anything.
it's on the brainstorming
Okay.
one, and there's a little